Dustin, so good to see you. A really interesting topic today. Retirement spending peaks earlier than you may think. So here's a number that should change how you think about retirement. 12. That's how many years the average healthy 60-year-old has before their mobility, energy, and independence start to decline. That's from the Office of National Statistics. Do you think that data would surprise most people?
My grandfather always used to say that if you're a pessimist, you're never going to be disappointed. So
Right.
I think it really comes down to individual situations and what someone's outlook is as to whether or not that comes as a surprise. But I do think it is a sober reminder that we're all going to go through different phases throughout life and throughout retirement, and our planning should really reflect that.
Exactly. Now that we know the data, your plan should reflect it. Like you just said, your plan should not be designed to produce a flat income over 30 years, but to support a rich early retirement and a more modest one later, because that's how you will actually live, whether you plan for it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So a real retirement plan, a real financial plan should include a dynamic budget. And one
Yeah.
of the reasons for that is the phases that we tend to go throughout retirement. We've got the go-go years where we're traveling, we're actively engaged in hobbies, we may be taking international trips, and then at some point we tend to slow down. We stay a little bit closer to home. Maybe we're still traveling, but maybe we're not traveling internationally anymore. Maybe we're not taking those 12 or 15-hour flights. And then later in life, you know, we may have health concerns. People are coming to visit us rather than us going to visit people. Those are those no-go years. It's really important that we've got a dynamic budget. And by a
Yeah.
dynamic budget, what I mean is if you go into retirement with expenses that are going to change over time, you can think about mortgage payments or support of children, things are going to drop off. Your budget needs to reflect that in your planning. It shouldn't just be a fixed amount of spending every year for 30 years of your life. Likewise, keep in mind that on the front end of your retirement, you may be spending more, and that needs to be built into your planning on things like hobbies and travel, etc.
Mhm. Right, exactly.
It
And the
also, Aaron, I'd add
Yeah,
one more thing on that. It also
please.
means that because you've got those distinct different phases throughout retirement and different levels of spending, oftentimes, that you may need different accounts and different investments to do different jobs throughout retirement. You may need some
Right.
accounts that will provide a guaranteed floor in your income that you can't outlive. You may need some accounts that provide income, and you also may need some accounts that continue to provide growth to keep pace with inflation for the latter years of your life.
Absolutely. It's a moving target. And then again, just to show the kind of boring white paper that backs this all up, according to the Institute for Fiscal Studies, retiree spending on travel and leisure peaks around age 75, then drops again, not because the money ran out, but because the physical capacity to enjoy it did. Have you found that to be true?
Yeah, everyone's different depending upon their health and their unique circumstance, but that pattern, I've seen that pattern, hold true for the most
Yeah.
part. And one of the most surprising things, that oftentimes people don't anticipate. A lot of people anticipate that their spending is going to be higher on the front end of retirement and then decline. But what they don't anticipate is that on the back end of retirement, most people's spending increases again. So what retirement often looks like is it looks like a smile,
Right.
right? Why does it increase on the back end? Oftentimes it's for things like medical care or
Health, yeah.
custodial care.
Mhm.
That means planning for things like long-term care can be really important.
Right. I feel like the tough part is, though, Dustin, we're so conditioned to save, save, save that a lot of people spend the first decade of retirement worried about spending their money because they're afraid they're going to deplete their nest egg.
There are two big tragedies that can happen in your retirement and your retirement plan. The first is running out of money before you die.
Right.
The second is not enjoying your retirement and not spending enough of those
Yep.
assets because you're concerned that you're going to run out of money before you die. And I understand this completely. I see it all the time. Most people, it's very simple. As long as you're a diligent saver during your working years, it's very simple to build your retirement assets and grow your retirement assets. However, very few people understand how to put together a plan to spend those retirement assets in a relatively predictable way,
Mhm.
sustainably without running out of money.
Yeah.
I will tell you that the retirement phase of life, the planning that's required, that phase of life is full of far more pitfalls and the planning that's required is far more sophisticated.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. The takeaway for me, retirement planning isn't just about saving enough, it's knowing when to spend it too.
Yeah, when to spend it, where those pitfalls are in the retirement phase, how to address them. And it really comes down to having a plan. I would say as you approach retirement, that plan is far more important. The planning needs to become more sophisticated. And putting that plan in place, that's what's going to give you the confidence to spend that money
Yes,
um,
yes.
with again the confidence that you're not going to run out before you
Mhm,
die.
mhm. Yeah, and it needs to be revisited. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of an ongoing
Absolutely,
project. Well,
year in
Dustin,
year out.
if somebody would like to create that plan with you, again, so they can spend with confidence and enjoy their hard-earned retirement, what's the best way to reach you?
They give us a call or a text at 830-476-2505, or reach out on the web to book a free chat at longlivemymoney.com.
Great. Dustin, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Aaron.